Sandra.
Yes.
Do you know in Spanish, I always mix up 6 and 7. 6 y 7 y 60 y 70.
Really?
I always write the opposite. And it makes me angry because people will be giving me a number and they'll say 77 and I'll write 66 and they'll say no. And then they start talking to me like I was retarded.
Te hablan como si fueras un... Bueno.
Yes.
Retrasado.
So...
Yes.
Sandra, what in 6 and 7? I guess in English it's easy. You wouldn't confuse them in English, would you?
No, you
60 and 70. Sandra, what is a teenager?
A teenager is somebody who's between the ages of 13 and 19.
Yeah, so in English we have a word for adolescente.
Adolescente,
Teenager. Are you a teenager if you're 12?
No, you are not, because it's not 12-teen. No. It's just 12.
All right. 13, 14, 15. You know, a problem often occurs in the difference between 14 and 40, 15 and 50. So 14, 40, 15, 50. They're very similar sounding in English.
Mm-hmm.
The key is this. With the teens, 13, 14, 15, the emphasis is on the last part, 13, 14. And with the 30, 40, 50, the 30, 40, the emphasis is at the beginning. 30, right. 40. So 40.
40.
14.
14.
14. Okay. Sandra, can you count to 100 by tens?
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
How about by fives?
5, 10, 15,
okay,
20,
it's
20.
It's okay. Sandra, after the number 100, we say the word and between hundreds and tens. 123, 123.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the only place you should say an and with numbers. All right? 1110 is not 1,110. No, it's 1,110. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, 10, 100, 1,000, what comes next?
10,000.
10,000.
And then 100,000.
All right, so let's go by, we'll add a 0 each time. 10, 100. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1,000,000.
So that would be
1 and
6
zeros. Okay, so in English it's 1,000,000, 1 billion.
1 billion.
All right. So 1,000,000,000 is a billion. We do not say 1,000 million.
Exactly.
Especially in U.S. English. In British English, I think they used to say it. Antes lo decían. And now they don't say it.
All right.
Now they say billion, I think. So at least in American English, it's million, billion, trillion. So billón in Spanish is a trillion in English. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing to keep in mind here, Sandra, is that with all of these, we use a comma and not a dot.
Eso es, usamos una coma y no un punto para separar los miles.
All right. So, Sandra, 1,000,000 is?
1,000,000 is a million.
1,000,000,000.
A billion.
Y 1,000,000,000.
A trillion.
Another thing to keep in mind is that we do not say 6 millones de coches, 6 million of cars. No, we say 6 million cars. The only time we say of is when the number is not specific.
Número que no es específico.
Miles de coches would be?
Thousands of cars.
Okay. Y millones de personas?
Millions of people.
So when it's not a specific number, we say, but we do not say 2 million of people.
No.
2 millones de personas.
But
no.
you could say millions of people.
Okay. Sandra, we have some statistics here. Shall we analyze them?
Of course.
Okay. How about an example first, Sandra?
All right.
How would you read this number? 1,000,000 345,562.
Okay, 1,345,562.
Okay, so notice the only time you said and there was 562. All right. How about 22,000,000,2014? So those numbers are, I don't know why they confuse people in English because of the zeros.
Yeah.
So I'm saying 22, comma, 002, comma, 014.
Okay, so 22,002,014.
All right. Sandra, how big is Europe?
Let's see, approximately.
Off the top of your head.
Let's
Sin
see.
pensarlo dos veces.
About 9,938,000 square meters. Million square meters.
Square meters.
Square kilometers.
Square kilometers.
Square kilometers. Ah!
That's the curse of onda voz there.
Let me repeat that.
Like when Alex said that Costa Rica was a couple 100,000 square meters.
Right. Yeah, but he was shopping for an apartment. All right, so that would be 9,938,000 million.
Wait, whoa. Start again.
Okay, 9,938,000 square meters. Square kilometers. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Give up. Okay, here's an easier
Merino.
question. How many countries does Europe have?
46.
40. Okay, good. That's a number. That's a better number for
I
you.
can manage that number.
And the EU?
27?
Yes. I think there are 27 countries in the EU
I'm not
right
sure.
now.
I think there are 27.
27 or
but they're always
29?
changing. Jose, do you know? No idea. So let's say 27.
What's the biggest country in the world and how big is it?
Oof. Okay, the biggest country in the world is Russia. Okay, and it's 17,075,400 square kilometers. Kilometers.
Talking about countries here. Kilometers.
Hi.
So where is the U.S. on that list of the biggest countries in the world?
The U.S. is maybe fourth.
All right.
Yeah.
And how big is it?
It's 9,166,600 square kilometers.
Kilometers, that's right. What's the smallest country?
Smallest country, well, the Vatican,
Yep.
I think, is the smallest, and it's 0.44 or 0.44 square kilometers.
Yeah, so the numbers if we use a decimal, the numbers to the right we usually say individually, so 0.44 kilometers.
That's tiny. And then there's Monaco, which is also tiny.
How big is Monaco?
It's 1.95 square kilometers.
So, Sandra, if you saw this number, how would you say it in English?
Okay.
123.456. How would you read that number in English?
With punto. Yeah, I would say 123.456.
Okay, Sandra, how would you read this number in English? 123.456.
I would say 123,456.
All right, so remember, it's the opposite in English.
That's right.
Sandra, what is the oldest country in the world?
I think it's San Marino.
How old is San Marino?
San Marino is 1,706 years old.
Sandra, did you know Portugal is one of the oldest as well? It has had the same borders for a long time.
Yeah.
Since when?
Well, it has had the same shape, because it has had the same borders, since 1143 AD.
So that's another thing to keep in mind with numbers. We don't say 1143 AD. With years, we divide them in half. So we say 1143 AD. So basically, Portugal has had the same borders for 864 years.
It's a long time.
What's the biggest sea?
The biggest sea, the South China Sea?
And how big is that? In kilometers,
in
please.
Kilometers, square kilometers. 2,974,600 square kilometers.
What about the Mediterranean?
Well, the Med is third. It's the third biggest, I think. And it's 2,510,000 square kilometers.
All right. So it ends in a 00. So that's 2,510,000. Can you repeat it?
2,510,000 square kilometers.
What are the richest countries in the world?
Ooh, let's see. Luxembourg?
And what is the GNP, the gross national product of Luxembourg?
Wow, it's about $45,360 per capita.
And what's the poorest country in the world?
The poorest would be Mozambique.
And what's their GNP?
They're at about $80 per day.
Okay. No, that's not. It's got to be. I think that's a typo.
Yeah?
I think that's $80 per year.
Per year?
$80 a day is not that bad. That's a couple $1,000 per month.
True.
$80 per year, I think, is the
Per
GNP.
year.
Yeah, I think that's per capita per year.
Crazy. Wow.
What country borders the most other countries?
The most other countries, let me think about China. I think it borders 14 other countries.
Okay, 40.
No, 14.
14. I didn't. So you said it correctly. I didn't hear you correctly.
Yes.
14, because 40 is
40.
40. We're talking about 14.
It doesn't border 40 other countries. It borders 14 other countries.
Did you know that technically there is a mountain that is taller than Mount Everest?
Oh, I thought you were going to say taller than the Almanzor.
No, nothing is taller than the Almanzor, Sandra.
Okay.
There's a volcano in Hawaii called Mauna Kea, which if you measure it, because it starts at the bottom of the sea.
Oh, wow.
From the bottom of the sea in the Hawaiian Trough, it is 13,796 feet. Okay, to its summit. So it's about 33 in total. From the part that's underwater and the part that's above water, it's about 33,476 feet, or about 10,000 meters.
And what about Mount Everest?
Everest is 29,035 feet, or 8,850 meters.
That's like 1,000 meters, over 1,000 meters taller.
By numbers, what's the most spoken language in the world?
It's Chinese, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think 1 billion people speak Chinese.
So, 1,000,000,000 de personas. 1 billion people speak Chinese. What about English?
English is spoken by 512 million people.
All right.